Good evening, and welcome once again to Hallowicked's Arcade of Terror, where we only play games that feature bats, bat boys, batmen, man bats, batsmen, bad boy, batty bats, or anything else that might give you a screaming case of the rabies. And of course, we do it all for the glory of Naz Muldoon. Tonight's episode marks two important milestones. According to my calendar, it's been a full year since we unleashed the Arcade of Terror onto an unsuspecting world. But what's more than that, it is the most important holiday of the calendar year. It's Halloween. So, which horror-based game should a horror-based game series play on this unholiest of nights? Dead Rising? Resident Evil 4? Mutant League Hockey? Alan Wake? No, in fact, we're not playing any of these. Believe it or not, we're playing Baseball Simulator Bases Loaded for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which is the reason I've chosen this uniform as my costume for this year. Before you close your video players, hear me out. This isn't some arbitrary choice. I would never disrespect this highest of holidays by playing a non-horror game for no reason whatsoever. We came into possession of this copy of Bases Loaded in our very first episode when it materialized from within the sphere of suffering. My expectation is that it's either cursed, haunted, or possessed in some way. And when we try to play it, we're gonna see some serious paranormal bullshit. But before we get into tonight's game, we would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to remember the many lives lost and souls carelessly devoured in the first year of the Arcade of Terror. The boys put together this following in memoriam tribute, lest we forget the many, many creatures who were snuffed out in the making of this series. Sounds like we have our first trick-or-treaters of the evening. I'm not sure what else I can do to make the dungeon less inviting, but being a true observer of the holiday, I am always prepared, just in case some hapless fools do make it to my front door. Excuse me. That group broke my first rule of Halloween. They showed up before the sun had fully set. It's twilight at best here in Sleepy Hollow. And I don't accept visitors during daylight hours any other day of the year. But on Halloween, it's unforgivable. So that group was not forgiven. I think those will come out, right? Baking soda? Not unlike when I played football game earlier this year. I know next to nothing about the sport this game is based on. So I took the time to watch Ken Burns baseball, all 6+ dreadful hours of it. And let me tell you right off the bat, I am not in a good mood, but I do now know enough about America's favorite pastime to make my way through the game. Let's get juiced up on horse-sized doses of steroids, grease up the ball, cork the bat, and place a bet against our own team in Bases Loaded. So far, this is just a regular baseball game. Surprisingly detailed, yes, but far from haunted. You pitch, you bat, you offend, you defend, and you hit as many batters as possible, and then call in a relief pitcher to hit even more batters. No signs of supernatural activity other than the fact that there's an option to play a full 132-game season, which sounds like something the Sphere of Suffering may have come up with. Let's take a time out from the game and recognize those creatures who have made this show happen for over a year now. Trash juice on lighting, don't get on camera. Worm food, on camera, stay behind the camera. And my showrunner and webmastress, Snake Mother, who, as usual, is nowhere to be found. And finally, our audio whiz kid, Swine Snot, who tonight is receiving the All Glory Medal for Crew Member of the Year. Swine Snot, I will invite on camera to receive this honor, but since they are a sentient pile of goo, incapable of moving on their own, I'll have to ask for some help. Trash Juice, could you kick Swine Snot over here? Thank you. Swine Snot, I'd like to bestow this medal upon you in recognition of all your fine work. I'd also shake your hand, but you don't have any hands, and you have a tendency to melt any living flesh that comes into contact with you. Round of applause, please, for Swine Snot, best audio guy in the biz. Sounds like we have some more visitors. The sun is down this time, so I don't anticipate the same issues. Excuse me while I go rot some teeth. That group violated Hallowicked's second rule of Halloween. They asked for seconds, way too early in the evening for that trash. Now if you're out past curfew, which I fully encourage, go ahead, ask for seconds. I'll gladly oblige. But at this hour, if you ask for extra treats, you're gonna get a trick instead. Our patience has paid off. We're now seeing some odd behavior from this game. Every time a ball is hit, we're hearing the screams of what I can only assume are damned souls. Fly ball. Base hit. Pitches. Foul ball. Home run. Wow, that is difficult to listen to. Let's take a 7th inning stretch and give a shout out to the IWTV crew, and specifically President Jerry, without whose support this show may not be possible. That said, what the hell, Jerry? IWTV has constantly threatened to discontinue the show, replace me as host. Yeah, that's right, they even screen tested Swine Snot as the new host. Turns out he didn't have that it factor. That it factor being the ability to speak, move, or play video games. On top of all that, they're always suggesting changes of the format, stupid guests that I hate, and I'm fairly confident on at least one occasion they sent an assassin to try to kill me. Well, thanks IWTV, but since you can't get rid of me, you're gonna have to work with me. So, here's my list of demands. I want your social media guy to tag me every time a new episode premieres. I want to be included in the official email newsletter. I want an autographed 8x10 of Gangrail. I want a PlayStation 5. Well, listen, I'm not done here, but tradition dictates that I have to answer that door. I'll be right back. Well, that last group finally did it. They committed the cardinal sin of trick-or-treating. They showed up with no costumes on. You come to my dungeon asking for sweets with no costume, the only sweet you're getting is a sweet embrace of oblivion. Ridiculous! Wearing costume's the bare minimum for participation in this holiday. Doesn't need to be expensive, extravagant, or even make sense. Just don't show up out of uniform. Disgusting. So I believe strong pitching is what's the core of a contender. You're not going to get anywhere without it, but you can't rely on these guys too much. These guys, they're aces, but the pitch counts get too high. It's going to take a toll. Look at this. This cannot be explained by science. This is a haunted game. My TV is oozing blood. Look at that. That's human blood. Get some bandages, get a bucket. We're not letting this go to waste. I'll throw an inside pitch every now and then. You hit a batter, you keep them guessing, gotta keep them on their toes. They don't know what they're gonna get. And yeah, that puts 2 on, 1 in scoring position. Not great for me, but that's my strategy. I think it's beneficial. Watch, I'll throw another one. Give this guy the old inside heat. Oh, got him. You know, loads of bases, not great for me. What is this? Oh, what in the name of Nazmal? Dude, he's being beaten on the field. Well, that settles it. The screaming balls, the bleeding TV. Could be a coincidence. That man being beaten on the pitching mound? No way that's part of the sport of baseball. We've got a haunted cartridge. I learned a lot about the sport of baseball tonight, and I hope you learned a little bit about Halloween etiquette. There's really only 3 simple rules to follow. 1. Do not show up before sundown, no matter what the authorities in your area say. 2. Do not ask for extra candy unless it is past curfew. And 3. Do not, under any circumstances, show up without a costume. Because the idiot children of Sleepy Hollow couldn't follow these simple directions. I'm left with this basket full of candy and... I'm sorry? That's very unprofessional of you. We're filming. Wait, for real? Hang on, can I see? Yeah. Cut! We'll be right back. Cut! I gotta see this. Trash Juice has informed me that batters actually do beat up pitchers in baseball. It's called charging the mound. Turns out baseball's a pretty sick and violent sport. I've got a basket full of candy and a playlist full of mound chargings and bench clearing brawls. So my Halloween evening is set. If you have any information on a baseball league looking for players, email snakemother@nazmaldoon.com. I've already got my uniform. I'm ready to go. Until we meet again, remember to follow me on Twitter. Tune in to IWTV for the latest episodes. And subscribe to the Arcade of Terror at youtube.com/Arcade of Terror. Happy Halloween. And as always, all glory, Nazmaldoon.